遊ぶ気はない。本気でかかってこいよ。
全力で行きます。
Hello everybody and welcome to this video looking at Dead or Alive 6. It's been a while since I did one of these videos, but today brought some very welcome news. The next set of DLC costumes has landed, and this time around the costumes are all pirate themed. I think the exact name of the DLC is Pirates of the Seven Seas or something or other. So I figured I would do a video looking at those costumes, show off some of the characters in them, and yeah, talk about this DLC because it's another good one. It's a really good addition to that season pass that you would have spent a lot of money on if you did buy into it. So here we go. I guess the most noticeable thing about this DLC costume set is that it is very fan servicey in nature. I can't remember if Dead or Alive 5 actually had a designated pirate set of costumes. I don't think it did. I think some of the characters had pirate costumes as part of the DLC for the Halloween sets that they put out. So if you bought the Halloween set, one or two of the characters would have a pirate kind of fantasy costume, like they were playing dress-ups at a kind of a Halloween party. That was obviously where those came from. But I don't think there was an actual dedicated pirate set this time around. Every one of the characters gets a pirate costume, and there's some similarities between some of them, but actually the variety between these costumes is quite good. I know there's been a lot of debate about the value of the DLC and all that kind of stuff, but I will say that if you did buy into the DLC, if you do think that the costumes were worth buying, the design that has gone into them, the effort has been really impressive, and your favourite character, whoever it is, has a costume that you will really like. This is, of course, the second set of DLC that came after the wedding costumes that came first time around. And the wedding costumes, while they're a lot of fun, fan servicey stuff, because who doesn't want to put Marie Rose in a wedding dress, there is a certain level of restriction in terms of what you could actually do with those, because a wedding dress is basically a white dress with very few exceptions, which might be short, might be long, but there's only so much you could do with those kinds of costumes. Whereas with pirates, I guess you do have a much greater variety in terms of what you can do. As you can see here, Honeka's pirate costume is very different to Marie Rose's from the previous clip. So this one really does show off, I guess, Koei Tecmo's creativity when it comes to pirate, or when it comes to DLC and costumes, and sticking to a theme, because one of the things I do like about the DLC strategy that Koei Tecmo has with Dead or Alive is that it does go into these themes and it makes sure that every character has a costume within a set theme, and then does an awful lot of themes. So, you know, you get to see your favourite character in a familiar costume compared to what everybody else is wearing, but there's obviously differences which really reflect their personality and the type of character that they are. So I like this. I think that this shows a lot of creativity from Koei Tecmo, and this, once again, I think that this is a particularly good set, and I think it is pretty original for Dead or Alive. I don't think, like I said, that Dead or Alive 5 had an actual pirate set. I guess the other thing about this set is it really does show off, I guess, the more fan servicey side of Dead or Alive 6. Once again, there's been that huge controversy since the game was first announced that they were turning down the sexuality and all that kind of stuff, and people were concerned about that. But as time went on, it seemed to me that it was going to go this way, that the base costumes in the base game would be relatively restrained, but Koei Tecmo would use the DLC as an opportunity to really indulge the fan service side of things, which Dead or Alive is so well known for. I think this really puts that to rest. The wedding dresses, as much fun as they were, and as much as it is kind of fan service to have your favourite character in a wedding gown or a wedding suit, It's a relatively restrained kind of design because it's meant to be elegant and graceful and all that kind of stuff. Whereas pirate costumes, that really gives Koei Tecmo the chance to kind of go all out with the short skirts and the underwear and the upskirts and all that kind of stuff. And the men are in very sexy clothes a lot of the time themselves, so it really goes that extra step. It's not quite to the point of swimwear yet, though I'm sure we're going to get swimwear costumes soon enough. But I think that this really shows that all those concerns that people had, I mean, if they weren't already put to the rest, they really should have been. But if they weren't, this should really put that final nail in the coffin on that particular debate. And again, without getting into the debate around the cost of the DLC versus its value, it is worth noting that we are still only two releases of DLC into this season pass, and there is a lot of stuff to come, including 2 characters. We're getting 2 characters from SNK, from the SNK fighting games, tie-in characters, licensed characters, kind of crossover characters, and I can't remember seeing if there was even the announcement of who the second character was. We know one of the characters, which is obviously Mei, who's a very popular character and really does fit in with the Dead or Alive cast, it must be said. But we still don't know who that second character is. I've got my hopes that it will be Athena, because I do like Athena a great deal. But we still have wait yet to see. So there's still a lot of value to come from this season pass. This is just the second set of costumes. It's a good set of costumes. You can buy into the season pass if you want to now, or you can still wait and see if those extra characters and that make it worthwhile. But if you are still playing Dead or Alive and you're playing it a lot, I think you should look into these. These costumes do give the game extra variety, and now it's starting to get that sense of fan servicey fun that people really wanted from Dead or Alive, and which Dead or Alive 5 had in bounds. So yeah, good to see, good release. This will give me something to play again over the weekend, and yeah, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you at the next video.